It seemed like Impunity went for the Skyweapon power pick against the Rona just because it's been proven to work against her rather than because they know it works for them as a team. It's something that we haven't seen them play in the past. So Impunity needs to not stray what works for them and just tries to go what works in 2.10. The story of this matchup is about each team's own metas and sticking to those rather than trying to play to the competitions.
Interesting first pick on Vox here. There's a lot of counters to Vox. You can try a weapon Adagio that we see works so well into him and then take the Arden and then deny the Grace, or take the Grace and deny the Arden. Could work really well here. But let's see if Impunity may fall back maybe on their Crystal carry lane like Celeste. We know late game beats a Vox, but does struggle in the early phase.
It's important to point out that Churnwalker once again has made it through the first 2 bans, so that could be an option here for Impunity.
There's also the Black Feather that is through the bans, and with Rona taking off the board, I could very easily see Impunity try and get the Black Feather onto their composition. They are going to take the Arden first pick, but now that Black Feather is still something that needs to be in the back of Ace Gaming's mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went for the Reza ban right here. Ace Gaming showed up huge on that pick, especially Tasa having the pick and playing very aggressive with it. Vox is another hero that can play aggressive, so if Impunity is trying to adapt as the series goes on, which is something that you should do in a best of 5, they should take away the Reza right here.
And last game, they did target ban the junglers, actually, with Samuel being banned. So maybe Reza could be good, or they can just take Churnwalker off the map and not give Churnwalker over to a Vox competition that can dive into them. But looks like they're going to instead remove the Grace.
So we talked about, taking the Arden and getting rid of the Grace, or vice versa. That is exactly what they do here. Arden, Grace, Lyra, all 3 of them taken off the board. So Ace, they're going to have to go a little bit deeper into that captain pool than most teams have had to go. But Lorelei is still in play, and Ace Gaming is one of the teams that we have seen run this Lorelei.
Yeah, and at this point, they have the choice of what to ban. They went for the Cruel, so I mean, it could be that they're trying to go for the Reza again. Cruel does play well into it.
Yeah, maybe because they don't want to give over Celeste Cruel combination, potentially, I feel, because they have played Celeste with Cruel. So let's see if Impunity is going to go ahead and pick up a strong jungler, or just secure maybe that CP lane Celeste if they want, or even take the Adagio if they play that weapon Adagio. Also, Baptiste is open, so they could actually pick up the Baptiste, honestly, because they play that hero so well.
Yeah, definitely a few options here. The other thing that's open is Kestrel. Ace Gaming, neither team's played it last game, but both of these teams can play it. So Impunity, if they don't decide to go with it, Ace can still pick it up for Tasa and try to siege those turrets down in the early game to snowball the game.
A lot of me is still leaning towards a Black Feather pick, though, because it is just that flexibility. You want to have flexibility when you're drafting B-side and going into your final pick so that you can then choose and have multiple options, either lane or jungle, for where you want to go with your final counter pick. Obviously, a lot of thought being put into this one by Impunity, though. You can see their time ticking down, but they're going to take the Lorelei, and now this really squeezes the captain pool for Ace.
Yeah, Lorelei jungle is so strong with an Arden because you have a slow with her splashdown. You have Arden Vanguard, slows the enemy on top of that. You have the fish food, which stuns. And once she has a lot of cooldown, she can actually put up to 3 splashdowns on the map, giving your team that mobility and slowing the enemy team. They're going to pick someone that can dive along with this composition.
This is most likely going to be a CP Black Feather with a Churnwalker for Ace Gaming. With a Vox, you're able to dive in, like you just mentioned. So we're trying to go for a dive composition that just plays really aggressively. Ace Gaming have really good composition available to them that they can play very well with the Churnwalker and the Black Feather. Let's see if they do decide to go for it.
Yeah, that may be a good option because you want someone that's mobile. They can jump away, they can run away in case you get caught in a gauntlet. Black Feather can just rose offensive and ult right through it. He can also run away if he's caught in a splashdown for Lorelei, which has a huge AoE area. So I think Black Feather will make it, but they're also going with Glaive here and potentially pick the Churnwalker and play a really high dive comp.
Captain
This
Glaive.
is Captain Glaive.
Oh, boy.
Well, the Glaive has been a little bit of a pocket pick for Ace across the course of the tournament, but it has not been in that captain role. This changes things significantly.
EA used to play Captain Glaive so much back around 2.8, 2.9. It's something that they use incredibly well with the afterburns, setting up so many ganks, setting up so many aggressive plays. And against the Lorelei, she's very mobile. If he can land Afterburn, when she doesn't have the splash for the speed boost, he can focus her down very easily.
Yeah, I think they did this to deny a strong weapon power carry on the side of Impunity, because Glaive in that comp with Lorelei is strong, Black Feather as well, and then boom, the Baron gets picked here, which is a great pick, because if he gets Afterburn, he can just jump away to safety.
Not only can he just jump away to safety, but he can also get a water wall and get himself out to safety. So I think it's a really smart pick by Impunity. Their draft has been one of their biggest strengths all tournament long.
They're looking fantastic with it. This is like the ultimate protect the Baron composition, right? Because I would say Lorelei is even better as a jungler for peeling than maybe even the Batiste, which is saying something pretty significant.
Yeah, we're
there.
going to see a probably Aftershock Clockwork Lorelei. High cooldown. She can proc Aftershock every 2 seconds with a quick cooldown on her splashdown. And she's probably provide a lot of utility to protect the Baron along with Arden.
It's time to head into game 2, gentlemen. It is time to get your predictions for this one. Impunity are 1-0 down. Are we going to have an even series, or will this be 2-0 to Ace?
I think Impunity will take this one just based off of the fact that going back to their strengths, playing with the Vox, weapon power in the lane, Lorelei and Arden seems to be a huge pocket pick that they've been hiding throughout the tournament, so I'm going to go with Impunity.
While Ace Gaming looks incredibly strong, I am going to say that I do think Impunity has the advantage in this one, but I would not be surprised if Ace do still manage to take it.
All right, Suijay.
I love Lorelei jungle. You finally see a Lorelei jungle, so I'm going to give this to Impunity.
All right, well, we do have an Impunity desk here once again. Despite Ace taking the first game, it's time to find out who is going to take game number 2. It is time to get into this one. Pass it up to Humanist and Dowsy for semi-final number 2, game number 2.
That's right, we're up here, semi-final number 2, game 2. Interesting drafts here, and we're going to have a little bit of a Lorelei composition coming together here, Dowsy.
It's true, it's protect the Baron, Arden and Lorelei, so much shielding, but you know, I love what Ace did in the draft there. When you pick Arden and Lorelei, you want to hyper carry, protect someone, and Ace said, nah man, we're taking everything off the board that we think you will be playing. In comes that Baron though. Quisi's going to have to have the game of his life here, because he is going to be the main and only source of damage for Impunity. It rides on his back, and you know, Quisi has quite an important story which we'll tell later on in this game, because here we go.
Oh my goodness, I mean, we have stories to come, an amazing match to be played. Let's get it on. We're onto the map right now. We'll see Lorelei moving into the jungle with the Baron, of course. Quadrivore will be moving out deep into the map with that Arden there. Maybe look to steal something away. It feels like there's huge burst potential for Ace.
Yeah, Ace is just going to look to try and blow someone up, and it may just be Quadrivore here.
Quadrivore had moved forward. He's going to be stunned up. That Afterburn going to work. He popped that healing flask, and with the Vanguard, wow, that is a tanky hero right there.
And this is a rotation Ace made all the way through their group stages, immediately into the middle of the map when they had a superior level 1 to their opponents. Take away that healing camp at the front, take away the Elder Treant here, really just deny Impunity everything. They're going to look for a steal, but they cannot fight.
Boots into the Afterburn there. Defq's going to try and move back. He's not as tanky, but Youngju's the one taking the majority of the damage. Tossa on the front line, 2-man on point. Who's going to go for it? Attacks on the Quisi. Defq tried to chase for the kill, but he will be paid for that one. First blood traded, 1-for-1 there. Tossa will go down now. Youngju thinking about maybe getting in position for an Afterburn. I do really like the Glaive, of course, with that Dragon Blood contract. It's pretty cheeky.
Yeah, very good for the side of Ace, but they kind of bit off more than they can chew. And Impunity very bravely looking for the returning kill. Let's focus in on Quisi here. The Baron, the man. This is his hour. Back in the 2016 World Championships, Quisi was the substitute for Infamous Legion, the team from SEA that this roster heralds from. They moved over to Impunity at the beginning of 2017 with Quisi in the substitute position, and he remained there. Even after Spaghetti left the team, he remained substitute. It was only until very recently they brought him in as the main carry for the team, and he's had an impactful Worlds performance. I'm so excited for this guy's story, what he's been able to do so far, and if he's able to put Impunity on his back in this game, that shows a lot about Impunity's trust for Quisi.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting story to tell, but I think also a lesson to be learned, you know? You just keep working, and eventually good things will come to you, especially if you're talented as this guy.
Yeah, and this Baron pick can have so much influence. In the early game, it's really good into Vox because you have a really good amount of range. You can use that jump jets for a very short jump just to burst down creation on this Vox. spamming those mortars to try and push the lane. You have to be careful of Youngju, his ability to jump this Baron and afterburn him backwards, allowing Tassa a very clean gank is something to be feared.
Down in the jungle, it looks like we're going to have a little bit of action. Oh, is that actually stolen? No, Defq able to grab that up. Youngju trying to find the damage, but over the wall, Queesy's here. Tassa will go down. Huge plays, and Youngju's going to pay for this as well. Little fish food. It's pretty delicious there on Creation, trying to do some damage. He's going to take more than he was able to dish out there.
Most people look at Baron and think, man, this is a late game damage threat, but you have to remember he can just do so much when he plays around his jump jet specifically. And Ace Gaming's roster here, whilst it's very much a high burst single target focus, it is very all or nothing. Once they dive in with that afterburn, they have to commit to the fight and blow up the person that they focus. If they're unable to do so, then there is a lot of turnaround. When you have Quadavoir on this Ardent to provide Vanguard shieldings, Defq with a water wall to come in just a bit, then you can really protect that single target as well as remove any CC on him through the water wall. Ace may have been outdrafted in this game. Impunity definitely have to continue to be strong though, because Ace will sniff weakness at any part of the game, and if they're able to find a lead for themselves, then they will run away with it.
Ace kind of dialing back here. Queasy moving forward, but realizes that's not the place to be. A little quick Vanguard, and he repositions back. Just happy to farm at this point. Looks like probably just getting into that Starblade. Was it Starblade plus crit? Hold that thought. Afterburn, Queasy back. He doesn't have the jump jets. Wow. He's down. Really nice fighting around the cooldowns there out of Ace.
Yeah, Queasy was being very patient in the bush, but he used his jump jets thinking he could punish Creation. That's when he realized Tassa was there, and that's when he hoped that Ace didn't know he couldn't escape. This turret will be threatened, but Ace are very much melee focused, so they cannot push in without being threatened by Defq, and the turret shall remain intact for now for Impunity. But there it is, that weakness that Ace Gaming can sniff out. When they see it, they strike, and they will threaten so hard. Potentially a poor rotation. They all backport. Impunity can do some damage to this turret.
Impunity on the tier 1 turret here. Creation is back. He's going to try and get these last hits. That's Tassa moving up from the jungle, and huge burst potential already coming out with that aftershock complete. Now, what might we see? There's go the port back. What might we see come out of this Blackfeather next?
Blackfeather building towards the aftershock. Tassa loves his clockwork and will suspect to see that come through. In fact, I suspect that just to be the build for Defq as well. It's such a strong build, and we've seen these Loreleis prioritize it as well because of the cooldown reduction you get. Right. Splashdown off cooldown very, very quickly. Water wall multiple times in a team fight to keep your priority target alive. The aftershock's being completed here for both these junglers, but Tassa has a infusion in his inventory, so watch out for that in the next team fight because it can provide so much damage to the CP Blackfeather.
It's really interesting to see Creation go for the breaking point first. It does feel like, from my play-by-play perspective, that a Poison Shiv could be pretty good here. What are your thoughts on that?
Poison Shiv would be excellent against this composition because Poison Shiv does 3 things. It reduces healing by 33%, it reduces fortified health by 33%, and potentially unknown to many players, it also reduces barrier by 33%, and there is a lot of barrier on the side of Impunity here with that Vanguard and Water Wall. So the Poison Shiv would be an excellent purchase, but Creation loves his Breaking Point Double Tyrant's Monocle build because of the damage you can output very quickly onto a single target, especially if you're able to stack that Breaking Point up onto the front line, being Quadavoir and Defq, transfer the damage onto Queasy when you boots forward with your movement speed and really just try and deal as much to Queasy in a short period of time.
I think that makes sense. I mean, you're also fighting up against complete burst as well, so it's a little bit outbursting potentially. We'll see how it plays out here. Youngju getting that scout trap down in the top brush there. That's actually really nice, especially when they're able to get the kill on Queasy up there earlier. If he's just hanging out, it'll be very easy to find that gank. Unity hanging out.
Flank.
Yeah, it's awesome. Moving around the backside. We'll see if Youngju wants to go for the engage. Could be that afterburn right into the Dragon Ball contract. Now the splashdown's there. Jump jet's back. Tassa on target, but quickly has to get back. Creation's low on energy and low on health. They have a fountain.
Oh, there it is.
There's the gauntlet down. They're going to be able to find the stun and the kill. Impunity. A very aggressive move. And they're able to find one, probably a turret as well if they don't make any mistakes here. A pre-Vanguard in before Tossa can jump in, and a very nice objective take for Impunity.
There was a moment of hesitation there from Youngju, and it cost Ace Gaming so dearly. The gold is in favor of Impunity now through that turret take. And it was just that uncoordination coming through from Ace. Tassa was committed to his flank, and Youngju wasn't sure about it. Their team was on a little bit more of the same page. Maybe they would have been able to burst down Quisi. But Impunity are getting this Baron stacked up. 2 items now picked up by Quisi. The Tension Bow and the Sorrow Blade provide so much impact burst very early on in this game. It really allows Quisi to kind of feel more threatening as we enter the mid-game. For Ace, their win condition is so clear, but they're struggling to reach it. They need to jump Quisi as a unit and blow him up. Echo should be prioritized by Youngju so he can really just lock down a single target. But Quisi now, level 8, means he has his overdriven jump jets and movement speed, stuns and all that. It's really hard to hit.
Oh, you might have made a mistake. The wait for it comes down to Quisi punish. What was he thinking? DefQ, he tries to water wall and get back with the Vanguard. It's not enough. He will go down. Wadava holding that fountain there, and he's going to go down as well. No, a nice usage of the reflex there to keep him alive. Youngju juggling that turret aggro, and that turret will go down, so very nice plays out of Ace.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why Quisi dived there. I think a flare got thrown out by Quadavoir. Not entirely sure, and it looked like it consumed most of that top bush. Maybe there was just a bit of vision that lapsed. A corner of the bush that Creation was stood in that wasn't visible to Impunity, and they felt safe to make that move. Either way, that is hurtful to Impunity because it has reinforced Ace Gaming's win condition and given them the confidence that they can execute this composition that they've drafted. So aggressive, Creation has to play so far up in the lane to make things work. That top bush in the lane has to be a priority for Quadavoir and his vision game.
I mean, I think it's also double value, Dowsy, because when we look at the infusions, Quisi had his weapon infusion up. It just times out, he grabs another one, but Creation as well. So he's able to actually get value out of that. On the flip side, Quisi's not getting anything. So a huge win for Ace.
Certainly is. 4-4, gold in the favor of Ace Gaming, and they're starting up the gold miner here. Really saying to Impunity that you need to come to us if you want to secure gold in this game, or else we're going to get the lead. Here comes the Iron Cannon, but it's far too late.
Yeah, I was going to say just a little bit too late, but far too late. It did feel like. Impunity, what's the play here? They don't have that Baron ultimate, but still will be moving forward. Ace a little bit split up. Tossa always approaching from behind here. Look at that on point, starting to do very nice burst damage.
And it's just vision control set up by Youngju that allows Tossa to be so aggressive in his flanks. He knows exactly where Impunity are constantly. He knows their every move, and so he can feel very comfortable maneuvering himself around the jungle to try and get into positions that Impunity would not expect him from. So much priority on vision from Ace Gaming. Quadavar's not quite matching it. It does put Youngju behind, though. All these scout traps he's purchasing, they're very expensive, Humanists, and so he won't be hitting any Echo power spikes soon. But if he can rely on Creation and Tassa to output the damage, and you can see that Shadow Glass that's come through for Tassa to just make sure his burst is as impactful as possible at range before he dives in with the Aftershock to make it even worse. Oh, Quisi!
More dreads in, Quisi, oh, nice jump jets out of there. And that's where you see the power of that overdriven ability. Can't lock that guy down.
Very difficult once he hits that level 8, and eventually he will probably get himself a reflex block as well if he feels it's necessary to be able to kind of counter Youngju. Youngju's afterburn, he's going to focus on his cooldown. Tassa able to jump over the wall there. Impunity will struggle to lock down Ace. They are very mobile, so Impunity can't really hard engage them because it only plays into Ace Gaming's win condition. They want to be as close to the Baron as possible. You can see Quisi's just waiting over walls so that he doesn't get caught out.
The afterburn, preemptive. Now the gauntlet comes down. Youngju taking a whole bunch of damage. Crystal Sentry most likely goes down. Quadavoir actually felt like he maybe would go down there. He's holding his fountain now. DefQ jumped by Tossa. Look at the burst damage coming out, and he will go down. Ace on the chase right now. Quisi looking to get a couple attacks. He'll jump jets backwards. And look at the splash damage coming out. Youngju, Tossa sharing a little bit of damage. Sharing is caring.
Sharing is carrying. Queasy now with that monocle will hurt. The armor hasn't quite been finished yet for Ace Gaming, but they're looking for another engage.
Another setup for Guatemala. He'll go ahead and get that. Well, he get the Vanguard onto his ally there. Turns around with the blood for blood. Jump gets forward. This looks really good. Queasy, but he gets bursted down. Ace calculated.
You're just seeing the threat that Ace Gaming have, and DefQ has to be careful he doesn't chase too forward because Afterburn is available again for Youngju.
DefQ, he's going to move in, trying to get the damage down. Creation, though, they jump right back in. They take Waterball down. Now DefQ, oh, Left 4 Dead goes down, and an Ace punished for their mistakes.
Yeah, this is Impunity starting to threat, starting to get scared because Ace Gaming are playing such a threatening game here, Humanist, and Impunity continue overstepping their mark, as we'll see in the replay. DefQ thought he could take them all, but you have to respect this Afterburn on the captain. No, he's not doing much damage, but he's providing so much utility for Tassa and Creation to be able to jump onto the front line and feel very safe in their ability to just dish damage. Creation has a very high crit build. The breaking point with the Tyrant's Monocle and the Tornado Trigger. Double attack speed, double crit.
So good.
And he has the defenses as well to be able to survive a fish food, survive that initial jump jets as well. Queasy getting closer and closer, 1,300 gold to completing his second monocle. It will be a massive power spike for him, but Impunity need to remember they cannot be the aggressors, and that's where Ace Gaming can punish them so consistently by going into the jungle, taking away Crystal Sentries, and sweating out Impunity.
Well, like to be Crystal Sentry going down, Ace taking it essentially for free. Impunity are as 3. Another miss there out of DefQ. Now, you were talking earlier about how Lorelei is incredibly strong, but this is a hero you definitely want to be landing the majority of your abilities.
You have to. Your fish food is so strong into these melee matchups. You see DefQ has actually maxed out his Q here. His A ability, the fish food, sorry. Means that it has extra range so that they can try and catch someone out. Tassa's a little bit split from the team fight. Did Youngju just fail his Afterburn? No, he's been spotted out. Just waiting over the mark, and where's Creation? Up in that bush. Impunity are starting to get scared. They don't know where anyone is. They don't have the vision to be able to spot out.
I don't even know where anybody is
Ace Gaming. There's Creation coming down from the bush. The Kraken has now spawned, and Ace are going to move over towards that side of the map so that they can try and catch out a bad rotation from Impunity.
You really notice watching Ace, and you said sneaky hanging out in that brush there, but they've done it as a team. They do it as individuals.
Right.
They're very hard to predict exactly where these guys are going to be.
And when you look at the movement speed they prioritize, Youngju has the wall treads. He can pop that, and it will at least hit Tassa. Creation can move in with his journey boots, and all of a sudden they've surrounded Queasy before he knows it. And if Impunity aren't quick to react, then it's going to be difficult. But a massive power spike for Cote d'Ivoire is this Echo Gauntlet, and the way he needs to use it is defensively. Impunity can't be the aggressors. When they are, they fail to take down Ace Gaming. But with a double Gauntlet from the Echo, what they can do is create a space for Queasy to stay in the team fight and lay down that damage. That's going to be the last Crystal Sentry taken. Will Impunity move in? No. They understand their win conditions so well. And there's that Tyrant's Monocle coming through for Queasy. Ace Gaming have to remember that Baron late game is pretty strong. And if they allow him to jump jets and lay down that damage, considering they're all melee, they're going to be grouped up on top of him.
Right.
That's a lot of splash damage coming out.
He's incredibly strong in the late game with a full item build. It's coming together for Queasy, but you look at Creation, he's incredibly strong as well, but this guy able to prioritize some defense because of Vox.
Right, and of course Vox is a ranged hero, but he's got the shortest auto-attack range, so he is practically in melee range with these melee heroes. They're starting up the Kraken here. They want Queasy to dive on in, but look how far back he is. This Kraken should just go over to Ace Gaming before they even strike, but Ace won the fight.
They're going to be able to find an Afterburn. Youngju, he does have an Echo, a second Afterburn coming through.
Queasy
That's pretty
failed.
tasty. Over the wall with the Echo, he should, or the Gauntlet there, he should be able to echo that up and have a second one coming through. Wait for it, lands on 2, moving forward, Creation, huge damage onto Queasy. Queasy, a defensive jump jets. Now another Afterburn. Oh, a nice little Sonic Zoom over the wall. DefQ goes down, Queasy turns, Youngju dropping low, has the fountain. Queasy will go down, traded there. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Ace come out on top. Cote d'Ivoire, he shouldn't get chased down here, should he?
He will.
Well, at this point, it's going to be a miss with that on point, but the Faint of Heart, it's just a matter of time. He will go down here.
Yeah, he is going to go down, and we'll start this replay up because Ace struck so quickly. They saw Quadva out of position, and look over the wall. It was a failed jump jets coming out from Queasy to get over. He was just trying to play his distance game, but Quadva was consistently split, and Ace played that so well, making sure to put the pressure on Quadva whilst Ace and Youngju dealt with the actual threat being Queasy. But once Defq went down, it was so easy. None of those gauntlets had any impact. Queasy was not getting the protection he needed from his Arden, and Ace just played Impunity like a book.
Desperation plays coming out of Impunity here. I mean, you can see Queasy's doing damage, but the way Ace are playing it, they only gave them one option, and that was Youngju. But at that point, it doesn't really matter. That is not your win condition. And Impunity find himself in an incredibly tough position at this point. Ace Gaming hanging back. Youngju looking for a key target at this point. Has Echo ready to go.
This is a really dangerous place for Ace to fight. In the base there, can be baited into a position where Impunity have favor, and so Ace need to be very careful about this turret push. You can see them playing really far back, allowing Impunity to take down this Kraken, knowing full well that they could just allow Impunity so much control over the game, and Ace would come through. Impunity would push at least 2 turrets from that Ace, and that's very clever play coming through from the East Asian champions of Ace Gaming. Not looking to fight, knowing that they can just continue to smoke out Impunity in their jungle like they've done so often this game. I wonder how threatened they feel about Queasy at this point, and I wonder what Queasy's decision will be. Journey Boots being prioritized. He still has no defense. Is he feeling that he needs to go towards more offense at this point? It's something that the SEA teams sometimes do, is just neglect defense entirely when they feel they need to hyper carry.
I mean, honestly, until he can grab another item, I'd kind of like to see a flare in that slot. I know he's waiting for a weapon infusion, but Ace have been so sneaky, it feels like you have to kind of prioritize some vision.
It's going to be that infusion coming through for Queasy here. And once more, Ace moving into the jungle of Impunity. Vision is there, and here comes the engage.
All right, boots forward, the afterburn. That's not the what he would look for now. It's the stun back, and the water wall comes down. Defq doing his job, keeping Queasy alive for the moment. But you can see, Ace are the ones moving forward aggressively. Impunity, full defensive mode. And it's really not what you're looking for when you have this Baron. Look for Youngju hanging on the backside of that wall. Once again, using this vision to his maximum potential. It's actually really beautiful to watch. They're going to move down. Quadva, actually, it's interesting that he moves in so aggressively there, not knowing where Creation is. And Creation moves around the backside. Splashdown comes through. Defq, it's interesting usage of its Splashdown. Yeah,
and so Splashdown actually does not reveal your opponents. It might look like Defq is trying to scout for Ace Gaming here, but what he is doing is placing them down in areas that Ace Gaming may look to flank from, and would of course slow them if they were to do so. So whilst it doesn't actually reveal out anyone where you do not have vision, it could just slow them down if they were to try and strike. So Defq with the clockwork and the aftershock, he has splashdown off cooldown every 4 seconds. It's ridiculously slow, so he can just throw them out willy-nilly, knowing full well that he can use a impactful splashdown in a team fight if he needs to.
Defq, another splashdown, moving forward, trying to get his team in position. And it's also nice to have that where the jump jets might come out, land, get a couple attacks, and then be able to move backwards very easily. Ace thinking about getting onto the Kraken, but they know that a fight is waiting here. Impunity still have a chance to move in. I mean, you steal that Kraken, take a kill, suddenly things get flipped on their head here in this game, and I really like that Ace kind of slow play this one.
Yeah, Ace know that their all-in composition is just that, and if they're to fail, then Impunity will strike. Quadva potentially taking too much damage here.
Quadva, he has that double gauntlet available. Queasy stunned, but there's the jump jets. He moves back. One gauntlet, the ion cannon comes through. Big damage onto Ace. Splash damage as well. The second gauntlet. Youngju's trapped inside with Creation right here. Jump jets forward. They're able to get one. Impunity looking for more. That was the boots forward. Creation maybe potentially have made a mistake here. Tossa will land the on point. Fish food. This hit with the splashdown, not in position to move them forward. Exactly the way. Now, that water wall signals that they want to jump, and maybe a little bit of miscommunication between this this roster out of Impunity.
It's up every 10 seconds for DefQ, and it gets reduced every time he uses an ability. Impunity need to take this Kraken whilst Youngju is down, or at least threaten the Kraken so Ace Gaming make a mistake, but instead they're backporting. They're so scared. The respect for Ace Gaming is huge, potentially too much at this point. Impunity are in the in the semi-finals by their own right here. They've defeated the previous world champions, but against Ace Gaming, you can see that they are showing all the respect.
Are you guys ready to play some games? I think it's about to happen here, Dowsy. Impunity start up the Kraken. Youngju's on the map. He's going to be making his way out here. Now, Tossa on this Black Feather is one of the best at stealing this, potentially. Wait for it, comes over the top. Impunity, they unleash the Kraken. Things have turned around in the crowd. Now beginning to cheer once again as the home team finding some signs of life.
Creation is looking for a flank play here. Croix d'Ivoire has flares, and they're desperately trying to find him. There it is. They've spotted the Vox. And now Ace are forced to focus down the Kraken and wait until Impunity get close enough, but the splashdowns allow them quick retreat away from the Kraken. Impunity can play the beast so well here. Here's the attempted engage.
Jump Jet's back. That's going to be the gauntlet down, but he does not have the Echo just yet. Waterblock. He's going to move forward, but he's locked down. They have the stun. He shouldn't be able to get out of here. Oh, that Vanguard onto his ally. Gives him very nice positioning. And that splashdown, the movement speed, the slow onto his opponents is so important.
Yeah, against this really low range composition, the Vox double melee, the splashdown is being so influential in the late game. Turrets falling to this Kraken. The choke point shall remain intact, but Impunity are starting to claw their way out of this dark tunnel that Ace Gaming has dug. And if they can continue to play this game so perfectly in the late game, their composition is so well suited to deal with what Ace Gaming wants, then the comeback could be real.
I mean, I feel like Impunity have a good chance of winning this. I mean, Queasy, he's going 5 offensive items. This is just a thing of beauty.
We said that it was potential, that the SEA region not scared to just stack offensive when they feel like they need to.
Tossa, big damage off the bat. Rose offensive backwards. The splashdown comes down. A nice positioning for Impunity to either move forward or backwards as needed. And between that and the Vanguard, Queasy getting huge boosts of movement speed. Also, with his tier 3 boots up, that 12-second cooldown off of getting that reduced when he gets his attack down, it is actually really hard to lock this Baron down.
Yeah, super hard. Basically, Water War and Vanguard are on very similar cooldowns here, meaning that Impunity can...
That's pretty insane.
Look to chain them, essentially. Big barrier for Impunity's Baron.
Creation, sneaky Creation. All right, he'll get in there, a little bit of poke, but right back out.
Man, this is just a game of cat and mouse here, trying to find their way in. Ace Gaming looking for that perfect engage, but Impunity have figured out that the splashdown is the way to control these fights. And DefQ has to continue laying them down in such perfect fashion.
I mean, you also see the 3 metal jackets across the board. Like, these guys know. They know what the threat is right here. They itemized for it. But even though they have this defense, this massive amount of defense for themselves, there's still the potential for Queasy to burst them down. This Baron hitting like a truck right now. And he hasn't had the ideal game either. He's been on the back foot, but coming through. Impunity down in net worth. 26 minutes into this game. I mean, this game is resting just on a nice edge. With the war chest, they found Queasy. He jump jets, he blocks off that stun. Tossa, Rose offensive forward. Who's going to be the target? Quatervaw is the only one that's left himself out. He'll drop the gauntlet down. A very defensive maneuver here. Was he able to echo that one up? Yes, he does. Massive splashdown. It's just like an ocean here in front of Ace Gaming that they do not want to run through, consistently slowing them down. And you're just seeing the power of the Lorelei at this moment.
And not only that, the vision has started to be cleared. Quatervar's taking back control of the map.
Okay, Afterburn in. So once again, it's just Quatervar's the only one who's left himself out there as a potential target. Splash damage from Queasy. Creation taking a lot of damage. The Baron doing work. The Fish Food not going to land. Splashdown's there. Gauntlets down. Rose offensive allowing Tossa to get out. Creation will get back with that block. Youngju, though, he's left for dead. Impunity. Chase him down. They got the stun. They're going to be going for Tossa. Queasy, does he have the jump jets up? Who's going to be your target? It's Creation. He wants this Vox. Vox, you will be punished. Another jump jets over the wall. Tossa down in the jungle. It looks like Creation able to get out of this, has the mobility to do so, but Dowsy How is this going to play out?
Impunity are now looking to take the Kraken away from Ace Gaming, and then they can push into the base and try and finish this game once and for all. The crowd are starting to get excited as their home team is looking to try and take it here against Ace Gaming. Equalize the series, and Queasy is finding Tassa.
Yeah, he's found Tassa. And then that splashdown comes through. Tassa's gonna die! Queasy will chase him down. Creation, what's the play over here? They got the kill. Waterball's only low. Creation in a 3 versus 1 situation. He locks on Queasy. He finds that kill, but he will go down. This game is just absolutely nuts.
This game is bananas. And Youngju is respawned. Enclave has so much base damage, and Impunity will respect the threat of a Kraken still. It's far more consistent, better, less risky to just go for a turret here and take it away. And if they kill Youngju as well, it's just an icing on the cake. The choke point turret easily consumed here by DefQ, and they can back away way before Tassa and Creation will ever threaten them.
Oh, just take a moment to breathe. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 28 minutes into this one. 12-10, net worth in favor of Ace, but at this point, it's negligible. This is not a big difference. If you could call this one right now, Dowsey, I'll make you prophesize, as sometimes I make Denominate do. What do you call?
Seems to me Impunity are playing so well into this Ace Gaming composition. I think Ace have missed their time to execute this game. They've missed their chance to do it easily. Not to say it's an impossible feat, but DefQ and Cote d'Ivoire, their ability to reconnect and just make sure they're fighting on their terms rather than Ace Gaming's has been impeccable in this late game. Impunity looking to take this one.
They can't back right now, can they?
Do they need to back? Not really.
They thought about it. I like that Ace did shove out that lane at least. Impunity are going to hang around here. Just kind of like fishing with the fish food at this point, throwing it over the walls. If it lands, that's great. Otherwise, the cooldown is so short, it's really not a problem.
And look at the item difference coming on through between these two captains. Youngju, despite the scout trap prioritization, has managed to continue his build. Oh wow, Ace are taking this Kraken down.
Of course they're going to take this.
How quick can they do it? Not that quick. Impunity will spot it.
Impunity!
Will they spot it?
Don't let this go for free! Waterball, move in here. I want to see a steal right here. What's it going to be? Io Kenny comes out over the top side of the Ace. Get the Kraken now. The fight. Will it happen, or are they going to play this defensively? Youngju taking damage, splash down into the gauntlet. Youngju should go down. Queasy has the damage. Creations on the backside of Impunity here. And Tassa in the brush. They don't know where he is. The wait for it will come down onto DefQ. Tassa looked like he wants to get in there and do something to kind of peel them. Well, not peel, but maybe distract them from chasing Creation. And nobody will be caught at this moment. Ace are going to hang around and be a bit of a distraction. Tassa over the wall, on points there. Jump Jets lands. You see pretty decent damage, but they need to get on this Kraken. Like, you don't want to just let it march into the base at this point.
Impunity need to be decisive right now, Humanist, or else they will lose this game due to that Kraken take. They need to either take the fight or take the Kraken, and the Kraken is more threatening.
Fake the fight, take the Kraken, I don't know. Either way, just do something. Creation dropping low. Queasy, he attacks the Kraken, moves back, attacks Ace. Gauntlet is on cooldown at this point. Ace will go ahead and retreat. And Dowsey, we're going into 31 minutes here.
How long can Impunity play this game against Ace? Because at the moment it is Ace being the proactive team. Impunity are consistently reacting to whatever the Koreans throw at them, as their team composition should. But it means that Impunity don't have as much control as it would appear they do with that splashdown. They can control the battleground, but they can't necessarily control when Ace engages upon them. Always making it very threatening to be in this position because they rely on Ace to engage them. And then their ability to kite and their ability to catch a member out of position so Queasy can do his job. Very difficult. Cote d'Ivoire, his Echo and his Gauntlet are split on timings.
Youngju eating a little bit of damage, but just a defensive afterburn there. He hangs around here. They're going to be going for it.
They're looking to
going.
finish the game.
He's just canceling. He's trying to cancel the teleport. They've got to get back. One turret remaining. What's the play? Youngju, he stopped a couple of teleports. Isn't enough. The last big crystal turret will go down. He missed the gauntlet. Quaterfall, a regrettable mistake right there. Bequeezy's here. He's on the toss of the main crystal turret. Goes down. Ace, make the sneaky play. He get it to go up 2-0.
What an incredible way to end the game there, Humanus.
Wow.
A backdoor coming through from Ace Gaming. A 30-minute affair. Impunity not able to deal with this massive melee threat, engaged threat, and Impunity will be dropped despite their late game prowess.